G'day again, Rod Iverick from Price of Wealth today, and hope everyone's doing well. And we'll get on with what I'd like to talk to you about today, and that is for me, what a week. Yeah. So what my week had me chase my bank account, right? So in earlier episodes, I talked about the strength of using spreadsheets and keeping track of your expenses, your income, etc. Well, I really had to use. Normally, I'm reasonably okay, but I did commit to two additional things, big ticket items. So that equated to 20,000 US. So one of them was to go to Grant Cardone GrowthCon. Right? Probably some people have heard of Grant Cardone, some not. He's huge educator around the world. And so what I did was there was a couple of things. I got challenges at home that I couldn't do the date. All right, so this is mindset mainly. So what I did was I postponed. I paid for it and postponed it until next year to go over there to GrowthCon, but I'm going to do it online. All right, so that was two challenges I had to deal with there. And the other one was a mentorship with Wesley Virgin. Right, he's number one. Well, I rate him as number one, and you could probably look at his results, and you would say it'd be hard to deny that he would be anything other than number one in the world on affiliate marketing. Right, and he's really powerful mindset, and his team is just magnificent. So that then had me scrambling for the bank accounts, because one of the things that Grant Cardone teaches you really is anytime you've completed a project and you have incoming money as reaching the goal that you've set, etc., you get that money, put it aside and invest it. All right, so you always then starting at, doesn't matter where you are, just beginning, and that's even for, like me, I'm investing that sort of money which I have access to only just, and for the next levels, for the next steps to challenge me and grow. That doesn't mean to say that without or with very little resources you can't do the things to grow without spending, without having that sort of money. You can invest your time, study the mentors, jump on and Google and research the mentors yourselves at only the cost of having an internet connection. So however, once you start to apply and your income starts to increase, I'd urge you to then really look at jumping on some of the paid for coaching, teaching and mentoring programs people offer that have got results. So it's a sort of So getting back to my week, right, is that part of when you go, well, hang on, wait a minute, I've got all those bills and I've committed that money, and hey, there's going to be some bills that I got to deal with, and the money isn't there. Right. So first of all, let's just state what the problem is. Right. The problem was bank account isn't going to be able to support paying these bills right there. That's the problem, right? For the last week. Now, what isn't the problem, right? What isn't the problem, right? What isn't the problem is that I have the ability to be able to have a look at the Excel spreadsheet and identify exactly what's going to come in when and when's it going to be due. So it in total, it may be a problem, but you break it down as to what bills come in what dates. You take one at a time, right? So that is not timing on when the bills come is less of a problem. Now, for mine, there's a lot of things that are direct debits and automated so that things are paid for on time. That and they're paid a little bit early. So that's the second part of what's not the problem, right? That is, I can modify those dates closer to their due dates, right? And whilst other income comes in, and that's what I did. So now, over the tight little period of a couple of days where I had to do a lot of work on the spreadsheet to ensure that things work and get paid, I'm over that little issue. Well, it's not a little issue because you see, for some people, not having enough money to cover even just the bills without committing to, like I committed to two large things, and usually the way it goes, and with parts of manifesting, is that when we wish for something, usually it's beyond our means for what we're wishing for. However, wishing for wishing for something draws us towards finding the resources for that to happen. And hence, during the last week, that's exactly what happened. If left alone to the old school of the old rod before, I may have paid the penalty of being embarrassed on having things late. Whereas from the mentors and coaches and that I'm coached with, I'm fortunate enough, and mind you, I don't put the problem back to my coaches. The coaches are there to challenge me onto the next levels, all right? And so I take on the full responsibility to do what I can, all right? And it's and they do really well to challenge my mindset. So it's been a week of manifesting things and doing things and practical things on striving to have things work. All right, so I'm very excited that I'm over that little mini hump, and that that you may be facing that sort of thing right now, and I'd urge you to think of what the issue is, because you see, all problems are problems of imagination, even though that's a hard pill to take, because you just go, well, hang on, I've got bills right on me. What's imagination about that, right? now just take a step back for a second and then go and write down what aren't the problems to whatever that issue is, whether it's spills or whatever it is. What are the things that aren't? What are the things that aren't the problem, right? And see what your mind goes to, and see what things, and write them down. Right? See how you go with those, because that the solutions, the problems in the world are problems of imagination, as the problems in the world are, or the solutions to the world are solutions of the imagination. Right? And practicing that as many times as you can. And I do understand that sometimes things seem to be problematic to a point where it's impossible, and sometimes that can happen too, right? If it's very obvious that there's no other way and you've done everything else, then the problem may have to be handled by moving the goalposts. Because you see, that's the other part. The other part is that problems are problems of what they are because of the goalposts that we've set, or the goalposts that others have set that we've accepted. All right, so but that's really that only happens when that's our very last step on resolving by moving goalposts, right? It's not a great idea to always go to moving the goal set, because it then has you doing that as a first option, and it negates goal setting, right? If you use that as a first option, that's really only when you've conquered everything else that you've tried to do to resolve, and that's the last result. So that's it for the day. I hope you're doing well in the world, and challenges are there for us to grow. That's you and me. It's everybody. And some are enormous. So I do understand that that they can be overwhelming at different times. I'd encourage you to subscribe on the channel, and we'll go and see you on the next one.